Yeah, I'm actually running behind, trying to get that coffee poured. And I was making nothing but a mess. So now I got coffee splashed all over me. What the hell is wrong with a man? I mean, dude, I honestly don't know where to begin today. Um, Life is just so fucking fickle. That's one thing I'll say. Like, it is such a balancing act. When something great happens, I don't look forward to it. I'm just ready, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic, so don't think that. But it's like, I mean, and I'll explain everything, but it's like the moment something great happens, I have to be ready almost that, something's going to balance that shit out. And today was a perfect example. Having a wife is awesome. Let me just say that. And I love you, babe. I really do. I meant to change the shirt just so everybody knows what the shirt says. And there we go. Yeah. All right. I get compliments on this shirt all the time, but guess who's going to age restrict me today? I won't even have to say the word. I can be on my best behavior, and I'm going to get age restricted because of the shirt. That's just who 2U has become, I should say. I know, dude. Isn't it like it's? How can you like? You should. They should be proud of me and splash it out. Like, look at what this dude says. Instead, they're like, no, you got to be 21 to read that. Really? To me, I think you should only be 5. That if you're 5, you should be able to read this and know what the hell it means, and be a part of it or be against it. Pick a side. So. Thank you, lovely Miss Spirit. And we'll be doing a new video. It's summer, so got some new videos coming up. Right? True that. That's it. That's all there is to it. Oh, look at there. Awesome shirt. Yes, fuck racism. Nice to have you with me, Jay. That's another Jay. The Jays are all around me. I was going to wait. I don't even know if Joe knows this. By the way, Jeremy, meet Joe. Joe Dirt, meet Jeremy. Jeremy and I met today. And I got to tell you, really great guy. And we're going to be doing a lot of projects together here in the future when it comes to different paranatural investigations, as we will call it, because you guys know I'm totally against normal, which is why I stream on odd days of the week, right? Or month, I should say. So, anywho, I will say this, because I was going to save it for you, Jeremy, but people that get to know Spirit know this, find this out, but I don't know that I've ever told Joe. I don't know that I have, because I knew that I didn't know. Just you'll understand why, Joe, because I wasn't 100% sure of real names. But here's the easiest way to say it. My father's name starts with a J. My wife's name starts with a J. My mother's name starts with a J. I have had multiple best friends named Jeremy and Jacob and Jeff. Multiple. Some of my best friends in life, actually. And literally the ones that have ever called me best friend start with a J. So when I say J's have a real, like, I mean, dude, all I can tell you is when somebody has the first name that starts with a J, it always makes it easier for me to go, okay, most likely I'm going to have some kind of a really cool relationship with these people. I don't believe in coincidences, and that's too many. Like there was a pair of brothers, Jeremy and Jacob, back in the day when I was 21. But I have had best friends named Jacob. I was trying to remember how many, because some of them go by Jake, some of them go by Jacob. But at least three Jakes. Yep, 3 Jakes. multiple Jeffs too. Like I think probably not the best friends, but I've had like two really close friends named Jeff, and they spelled it with a J. I say that because I actually know a dude who spelled it Geoff, which I never understood. So, right? It's something to do with J's, man. It's true. Uh, I'm seeing these stupid X. Not down with the X. I preferred it when there was a little blue bud. It seemed to have some kind of purity to it. Now it's been tainted with Elon's Musk. But all I can tell you is I truly mean that. I'm very, very against what he has turned turned to Twitter into. And his plans for Twitter too are just, they're horrible. If you haven't read them, go read. I'm not going to bore you with it. I think I may have talked about it once before. So there's no reason to repeat, right? But back to the J thing. I cannot emphasize. Funny enough, I did not name any of my kids Jay for that very reason. I figured that was not one of my children has J anywhere in their name, as a matter of fact, that I can think of. No J. Which I think, again, it was pretty much intentional. You know, the J's, I can't name someone, right? So they have to come into my life on their own accord, by their own volition. I can't name someone, and I've never named a dog with a J either. So, but back to the day. So, this guy and I had talked. We had texted for a bit, and I won't deny. I know he's watching now, but I was a little nervous. Not because it was Craigslist or that I had fear that he was a weirdo or anything like that. Honestly, I was just nervous that he was going to be the kind of guy, you know, that I click with, because he seemed like it. Now I've already met another one, and he's really nice, but we don't like clicking well. To me is the thing, and I really like this other guy that I've met. It's just we don't click the same way, you know. And if you're going to be a member of a team, it seems like to me the important thing is to really have a, you know, some kind of a bond just beyond what you're doing, you know. And what I mean by that is a bond beyond just the project at hand, you know. Something else that says, yeah, you know, I dig the way you think, and I dig the way you approach life, and that is in conjunction with my approach to life, you know. And so I was a little nervous, and I know it because I didn't shut up, and I kept having to find something to talk about so that my nervousness would not come out. But that probably just made it more apparent. But as I'm giving this guy a ride to his car, that's like, we made an agreement, we made a commitment, you know, that we're going to do it, and we're going to do this project together. And I'll tell you more about that as the weeks come, as the days come, and all that good jazz. But the bottom line is we made a commitment. Yes, it was a handshake, but that's all I really need. And like the moment that I'm about to say goodbye to this guy, my son, my oldest son, calls me, panic stricken. And rightfully so. I'm not going to say that it wasn't for good cause, because he calls me and he just got into an accident where I don't even know how this is possible. So I want y'all to hear this. He made an illegal U-turn, and these people hit him on the driver's side, which means to me, you had to go a U-turn like that and then keep coming around so that these people hit you. Like, or were they coming the other way? I don't know. I wasn't there, but he calls me panic stricken, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, great. So I was a little panicked, and that's how I ended meeting this guy, right? Was I'm panicked. because my son is flipping the hell out. Y'all know my son's been going through a lot, and this is only going to add to it. I mean, he already lost a twin brother in the last year. He feels like he has no life in many respects, and I won't go any further. I'm sure you can put the pieces together. So, the biggest thing I'm dealing with, the entire ride home, this kid has me on the phone with him. I'm 45 minutes away from home. The entire ride home, I'm in rush hour traffic. He has me on hold while he's talking to whomever. I guess the people that he got into an accident with. Plus, had me on hold while he was calling his roommate to come pick him up, because I wasn't there. There was no way I could be there. It was crazy. And the biggest thing, and here's the thing to take away from this for anybody who's watching, is panicking doesn't do you any good. And what's funny is I end up panicking, but I'm trying to, my panic, it's funny because I'm telling him not to panic, but I have panic in me because I'm trying to get him to calm down. I know that may not make sense for those who are watching, right? It was crazy, Brandon. It was fucking crazy. Yep, I know, man. It is what it is. As much as I feel bad for him, and I do, I truly feel bad for my son. But he also brings a lot of this stuff on himself. He does not, for instance, right now he's at home freaking out about life when it's 7:30. And I've tried to tell him, I was like, dude, freaking out about it. Of course, keep in mind, he's 23. So how what's the word? Calm were we at 23, right? But I'm like, dude, getting upset, freaking out about it, reviewing the tapes of had I done this or had I done that. I was like, all this will do is wasted energy. You'll waste energy, and it's wasted energy, and it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to make your life any better. And there's nothing you can do about any of this until tomorrow. That's just the world you live in, right? And to him, life is over. And I try to take myself back to being 23. I reminded him today, I was like, dude, every time something bad happens, you literally say your life is over, and yet we're still here. Let me just give you a piece of fact, okay? And I know some of y'all watching will probably disagree with this, but there is not one thing that life hands you that you can't handle until you're fucking dead. That's it. Once you're dead, game over. Life has handed you the final fucking card. It killed you, okay? Whatever that may be, whether that's a fucking car accident, a train accident, jumping off, suicide, whatever the fuck is your demise, that's when you can no longer handle it. Now, I know y'all heard me throwing suicide in there because to me, suicide, quite frankly, is another form. It is a form of death, and it's a chosen form of death, but it's when you feel like, what's up, Vital? How you doing, man? Thank you, Kenneth. I see it. Thank you. Nice to see you, Vital. Hope you're doing good. I think you just hit me up on, I think you may have just hit me up. I just can't answer right now, but I think you may have just hit me up on Discord. Just know I'm streaming. So where was I? I know where I was, but I lost my thought of train. Oh, suicide. Suicide is a form of death. And if you look at what I just said, life never hands you more than you can handle until you're dead, right? Well, I 100%, by the way, Joe, let me just say this. I know there is life after this. This is not part of what we do here is encompassing of what is happening outside of this, what happens beyond this, after this, It's funny because a part of me feels jealous because my son God love him. He got to make the journey first. But I truly believe that I will not only see him again. That part I can't say that I 100% know for a fact, okay? But I truly believe that I will see him again, number one. And I do know that there is more after this. This is, to me, the fact that we don't know where we come from and we don't know where we go to, that is the answer. Now, I know a lot of pessimistic people try to take that and go, well, that's how you know that there's nothing. We come from the same place that we go to. No, we're just not allowed to. Because if you know what's happening, that taints what the learning is. You cannot come here and truly learn if you know you're here to learn. I know you don't believe me, but it's the truth. You know, if you knew what you were here to learn specifically, then you would taint the learning of it. It's the same reason that they don't fucking let a mouse know that it's in a maze before they show up the fucking maze. Okay. It's called control. And I know a lot of people are going, well, that means we're an experiment. It's not about an experiment. You're looking at it the wrong way. It's the game of life. And what do you fucking gain from it? That's all there is to it. It's that simple. Does that make it easy? No. Two different words. Please don't get me started. Simplicity is two numbers plus one another, right? But if I spout off 7 digits plus 7 other digits, is it easy? No. There you go. Okay. I missed another one down here. Sorry. I know you are. Keep being loud, man. Always be loud. If you're not loud, nobody's hearing you, man. By the way, it's good to see all of you folks here. I love all of you. I hope everybody's doing well. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but you know, hey, if I didn't go off on a tangent, then I wouldn't be Spirit 420. By the way, fudge me, I never even said my open line. Hello, everybody, Spirit 420 here, because everything I do is so 420. Have a good one, man. Take care. I will see you. So I'll see you. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. There is, just so if this is your first time watching, just so everybody realizes it, there is a bit of delay from when I say something and do something to when y'all are seeing it. It's just the way it is. So sorry about that. All right. Like I said, what we refer to as the gods, right? They actually envy us. That's why we value our lives so much. They live forever. Yep. And that there is, you know, anybody that's a god is not getting the opportunity to stop one life and start another, right? Again, there's certain things I know. I know that there's an afterlife. What I believe part of that is that we do gain. I think outside of this life, we gain all the experience of this life and all the previous lives that we have lived before it. And I believe that is simply, you know, and a lot of people are like, well, what about heaven and what about hell and all that? As much as I do believe in God, and I absolutely know there is a God, there is even if it is a fucking 5-year-old kid that just knows how to write amazing code, there's a creator of what we live in, right? Of where we dwell. And anybody who argues, I know there's the people that believe in the Big Bang. I always say, whoever did it made the Big Bang. Something had to do that. It's cause and effect. We live in a world that's cause and effect. So all of a sudden you think that somehow we started from zero effect and just cause, or excuse me, zero cause and just effect. Boom. There's a big boom out of the nothingness of nothing. No. Something made the boom. Whatever made that boom. There's your answer. Now, what that is to be determined, and we get to figure that out at the end. But I truly believe that between lives, and I don't know that I don't know, again, how can I? I'm just another guy like all of y'all. There's certain things I say that I feel like I know, and there's certain things that I believe. I know there's an afterlife. I know there is a God. These things have been proven to me through not only experimentation, but signs, as well as just flat out experiences, right? Those things I know. But just like everybody, just because, you know, I know that doesn't mean that gives me all the answers to, because just like before I knew there was a God and before I knew there was an afterlife, I had a lot of questions. Well, those don't answer all those questions. And I've talked about this before, but all those questions as they get answered, only each question answered gives me 5 new questions. So the exponential amount of not knowledge that I have now, if you're following my crazy words, has brought me to a couple of things that I know. That's it. I just know those 2 things, and I'm still learning all the other ones, right? I still want to know why. I still want to know like how it all works. You know, is it purely code? Who knows? Part of what I'm going to be doing with the guy that I met today and the team that I'm putting together is studying these things, and we will be calling it paranatural. The reality is, it happens in nature. And again, I can't stand the word normal. In fact, most people don't realize how normal strange actually is, right? It works the other way, by the way. Most people don't realize how strange normal actually is. So again, never been a big fan of the word normal. I think you folks know that by now. So we are paranatural investigators. And by the way, for those of you who truly don't know what these words mean, and I mean that, I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean that respectfully. It doesn't, because some people think that means just one aspect, like maybe just ghosts or just aliens. I'm going to be investigating anything that people have trouble wrapping their head around. Put it that way. To me, that's what falls in that paranatural realm. Is, you know, when it somehow feels magical because it's so different than what you're used to, right? And I did find somebody who compliments. I've got this piece. You ever have that, like a little piece of dead skin on your cuticle, and it's just fucking the shit out of me? I need a pair of clippers up here. We meshed well, and I can't wait to do some. I live very, very close to Denver, not to mention in the Springs, right? Oh my God, in Pueblo. And not to mention just the multitude of fucking places. Y'all look it up and you will see what plethora I have, like all within 2 hours driving the distance of things that are going to be great to investigate, from urban, urban settings, urban exploration. I'm sure some of y'all have heard of urban exploration, right? Going to places that have been abandoned and shut down and nobody's been in there for fucking years. Going and exploring places like that, as well as there's so many badass wooded places, not to mention the fact that, let's just say, in the realm of space, you got Space Force that is supposed to be here, right? And you have other things that are supposed to be here, in the sense that a lot of it, like, do this search, Forbidden Places, Colorado, and you'll see where all kinds of places I have. And yes, I do plan on going to some of those fucking forbidden places. What the fuck would I not go there for? Like, how the hell? Yeah. How the hell would I mean, what's the point of going somewhere that like, don't get me wrong. I want to explore and investigate some places that other people have done, because I feel like, first of all, if it was all about just watching what other people did, then why would anybody go and ride a fucking ride at the amusement park, right? Well, they could just watch it on there. No, doing it yourself is something else to be said altogether. Number one. Number two, it gets me out of the house. Let me just say that. So there's times when I will explore places that have already been explored, but I do plan on exploring a lot of places that are literally, technically, forbidden. I'm going in with the reality that I will probably get chased off by the law at least more than once, and if you push it, then you're gonna get tagged. That's all I'll say. So we'll see where it goes, but it should be fun either way, right? Where are you, Kenneth? Just out of curiosity, are you in this part of the world, or are you over on the East Coast, or what? If you already told me once before, I sincerely apologize, sir. Oh, what's I gonna say? Shite. There was something I was gonna say, Vital, and now I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Move on. I have some coffee here because coffee is, yep, so 420 indeed. But I think a nice 420 thing is to have a 710 dab, right? Where did I do? Ah, there. I was trying to remember where I put my wax, but I found it as quick as I lost it. So yeah, what's nice is this guy also has some equipment, so it's just nice. I've met somebody that has the same, let's say, feels like about the same level of passion for what we're in. Let's see, white truck. I'll have to figure that out later. My bad. You've probably given me a clue, and I'm just not. Let's see. Oh, did I meet you out and about, like here in town? If I did, just don't use my real name on the channel itself. Most people who know me know my real name. They just call me Spirit. But I think I remember now. I think we met. Oh, dude, I know who you are, Kenneth. Yes, you try. You know exactly where I live. That was a good one, man. Smooth. It took me a minute. I'll say it like this. It took me a minute, Barbie's equal, male-wise. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm slow. I'm not, how do I say? I was not think to me that was a outside the box thought, and I was not there. I had to think outside the box. You gave me enough crumbs though. Enough crumbs, brother. Love you, man. Good to see you. Love all of you, by the way, as usual. I will that is no bullshit. Each and every one of you, as y'all well know that I believe, are incredibly special. The fact that no one else thinks like you or thinks for you is the reality of what makes you so special. And some people get that, and some people don't. Are you having a sesh right now? Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are, Joe. I get that. What's this? Take time, other words. Oh yeah, take the time to smell the roses. No, if I had, here's the thing. He gave me sly clues. Had I been thinking more, what's funny is while we were sitting there, I ended up, so give you an idea, I am a bit of an investigator, and I know it. Like, it's just part of my nature. As I'm sitting there talking to this guy, yes, I'm going off on a tangent. As I'm sitting there talking to this guy, a Jeep pulls up, and a couple gets out. And they're very unique looking couple. But the one thing I noticed is that she was in a white dress, right? And he was in it was a black suit, almost a tux. Well, they went in. We were at a coffee shop. They went in, grabbed coffee, came back out. And as they were getting in the trucks, I'm like, hey, as they were getting back in the Jeep, I was like, hey, guys, I have to ask. I was like, I just have to ask, did y'all just get married? And they're like, yeah, we did. So I literally, nice. I see that, Brandon. Y'all are in the sesh together. I literally was like, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. Would you like me to take a picture with your phone with, cause this was in Castle Rock. So I was like, with, Castle Rock in the background, would you like that picture on your wedding day? That's not you trying to do the selfie, right? It's funny. I don't think they were ready for someone to be so nice and ready to do it, because they were like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. Fucking hand me your camera. I took a few pictures for him. And obviously wished them well on their on their new life's journey, which I mean, I just think is cool. And my only point there was, and I know those are big clues, guys, but when you're in investigative mode, you look for the clues, right? When I come in here to do this sesh with y'all, what's up, Eric? Oh, wait a minute. There you go. So it looks like he's giving you some shit, Joe. I love it. Back to what I was saying. Oh shit. Oh, when I come in here, I am not. What's the word? I'm not in investigation. I'm not like I'm here to share and chat with you guys and share my day and share some, positivity and that kind of shit, right? So I don't think in that same reading the clues kind of way. And that was a long way around to get to that point, but I did it and I did it well, so y'all can all just kiss my ace in the hole and I'm going to do another dab. Did I do a dab or did I just get it all ready and not do a dab? I honestly, I can't remember. I don't even know if I did a dab. I don't think I did. Isn't that sad? I honestly don't think that I took a dab. I think I was just sitting here. Joseph's nuts are hurting, guys. Somebody send him a bag of what's up, Tom? Love to see you in here, buddy. I love all you guys. Somebody send Joe some an ice pack for D's. That's right. D's testicles. I went the other way. I know you all thought I was going to say nuts, but I had to change it up and give it a little juice. And I am pretty sure that I did not do a dab. So I thought that I did a dab. If one of y'all saw me do a dab, please tell me, because I don't think I did a dab. I really don't. And I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to remember. Again, I think I got everything out to do the dab and then never actually did it. But here we go. Okay, well, there's no denying that I did that dab. Now that I said that, and now that I did the dab, I think I may have done a dab. Yeah, it is dab time for sure, Tom. For sure. I'm just trying to remember if I've done one or two now. But it's okay. I came prepared for the sesh regardless. I've got this other Jaybird to burn. So there's back to what I was saying originally. There's so many, and Ken, you'll know this, considering your occupation. There's so many no places here. I'm probably going to get into trouble, but I mean, what is life if you're not getting into trouble? But again, if it wasn't forbidden, would we even want to go? Would we give a shit? Half of the things that we're able to do is because somebody told us we would never be able to do it. And I'm not talking about just you as an individual, folks. I'm talking about the entire human race. Half of what we have accomplished is because some jackass, male, female, it doesn't matter, said, you can't do that, when somebody said, I can do this. I love that. I think one of the best things you can do in this life is make someone eat their words respectfully. I don't mean in a bad way. I'm not talking about being a dick. I'm just talking about when somebody says you can't do that or you will not succeed, you come back I don't care how long it takes you, but you come back and you show them, hey, I did exactly what you said I was incapable of doing. I guarantee you, anybody who considers themselves a minority of any kind in this world, of any kind, I don't care if we're talking about race, sex, creed, religion, whatever. If you consider yourself a minority, then you know exactly what I'm talking about there. Because if you consider yourself a minority, most likely it's because There has been many times that either you have been, um, what's the word? Held back, I think is the best way, or held from, kept from, held back, kept from doing something because of your minority, right? And I say that because if that's the reality, then you feel like you have a reason to call yourself a minority. Otherwise, if that has never happened to you, if you have never experienced that, you honestly won't know what I'm talking about and you won't get it. And I know some people look at me like, well, dude, you're white. What minority are you? Man, you haven't been watching the channel. Okay. I have a lot of fucked up views and a lot of fucked up ways, not to mention the fact that I was a pansexual before they had a fucking word for it. Long hair and piercings back in the 90s with a tattoo on my arm. That was the kind of thing that had literally ladies who are my age now turning around in the grocery store and walking the other direction because I was hell on wheels in their opinion. So yeah, I think anybody who's had any kind of a situation where again held back or even like that, what I just said, that's clearly a situation that makes you feel like a minority. You would turn your cart, and I'm not kidding, folks. That happened to me on multiple occasions. I wore crazy pants. I'm always in sandals or flip flops. Like that's who I am. Oh, I got a lot of shit over here. Are you taking? If you left, I apologize, brother. I love you. All right, Joseph. Mountain oysters. There you go. Isn't that the truth, dude? One of my favorite movies. You just reminded me of it. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Funny Farm with Chevy Chase, and there's a mountain oyster scene in there. I didn't even read this one. Sorry, Tom. When in doubt, always dab another dab. Yep, exactly. I'm gonna have another one in a second. I hear a snip snip from Joe's area. Yeah, I get it. What's he doing over there? Here it is. Pinata. I'm gonna whack your pinata, dude. Send your pinata to me, and I'll hang it right down from here and fucking whack it on the show. I said I'll whack the pinata on the show. That's the only thing that was mentioned, just so all the people in the audience are clear. But I did, Tom, say I would do another dab. So I do want to talk about something real quick on the marijuana side before I do this dab. This is an indica hybrid. Now, most of y'all know what that means. Indica hybrid means that it is more indica than it is, excuse me, than sativa, but there is some sativa in it. Okay, it's not a pure hybrid of half and half. It's heavier on the sativa or heavier on the indica. Now, there's a big debate. I won't even say it's a debate. There's a growing population of people who say sativa gives you energy and indica puts you to sleep. Now, I just want to talk about this for 1 second. I am not going to stay on this long because it's not a new subject and some people are probably bored already. But my entire life has been lived on the concept of indica for energy, sativa for sleep. Like it's literally energy indica, right? Sleep sativa. So what I have come to believe, and I say this, I only bring this up because my wife, who has been smoking the joints, she keeps up with me pretty much, right? I know it did sound dirty, didn't it, Joe? My wife, who keeps up with me, was like, does this have sativa in it? Because we are heavy indica smokers. Like, I mean, I usually get straight up, I generally get full blown indicas that are like 32 or higher, right? 32% THC or higher. So strong indicas. They give me a boost. You guys see me standing here. Like I don't get sleepy at all. And even my wife is the same way. She knew because there was enough sativa that it's making her more tired than usual because there is sativa in it rather than just a pure indica. And she questioned me today. She's like, is is this a hybrid? What is it? I was like, it's an indica hybrid. She's like, oh, it's a sativa. Indica hybrids usually have somewhere between, and I could be wrong, but usually they're going to be somewhere between 24 to 33%. Sativa. I would get the word out. I'm just high. Leave me alone. I will be back on Thursday, and I'll be back on Saturday. I may end up having some crazy, some bitch in the audience with me on one of those days. He knows how to say he wants to do it, and I'm sure I'll probably get a text from him tomorrow or later tonight because he knows exactly who he is. But it's time for us to have another conversation. Things have drastically changed in his life, and things are in the process of changing in my life, which is exactly what tonight's show, the focus, right? Change is essential. Embrace it rather than reject it. If you reject it, here's what happens. It still happens, right? And what I mean by that is change is going to happen whether you embrace or reject it. But if you embrace it, it becomes much easier to manage. It becomes both simpler and easier to get through the moment. If you reject it and you fight what is trying to happen, ultimately you end up just slowing yourself down. I mean, I kid you not. I've done this so many times now. I can tell you, if you fight it, you're just slowing down the inevitable. That's why I say embrace it. So I don't know if anybody else agrees, but you have a simple, when change comes along, you have two ways to go: embrace it and move with it, or reject it and move with it. Okay. And what I mean by that is either way, it's going to take you where it's going to take you. You're either going to fight it, kicking and screaming and having a horrible time and wasting so much energy on what's the word I'm looking for? You're wasting energy, and it's wasted for two reasons. One, it's inevitable. The change is inevitable. Two, that energy could be put into finding the way to go with the change, right? To use the change. That is the other thing that I'll say. Reject it, you get really nothing from it except for the change itself. But if you embrace it, you usually get whatever you're going to get. The same, like I said, the same two things. But you do get a little bit more when you embrace it. There seems to be, how do you say, like a reward, if you will, for the fact that you did not fight what's going to happen, but instead said, okay, this has happened. How do I deal with it? I say that because it's what I'm trying to get through to my son, right? Like, I wish I could just implant 20 years of extra livelihood and visceral life experience into my kids, but obviously I can't do that. They have to go through it themselves. They have to fucking bust their teeth, cut their teeth, whatever it is, bust their ass, cut their teeth. We all know the deal. By the way, hold on a minute. I know there's some, it did sound dirty. I heard that, Joe, just so you know. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Yes, it is. It is inevitable, and anybody who argues with that, I think they've been locked in a glass, or not even a glass. They've been locked in a fucking room because there's no way that they've been living in this world, right? Yes, always dig it, brother. Nice. I'm happy about that. I will see you soon, man. I will talk to you soon. Have a good evening. Call me or text me tomorrow and we will figure it out. But just to end out, tonight's sesh for me, one thing that I will say, as you change your, I guess, attitude towards change, because I know some of you are like, fuck change, I can't stand it. You can sit here and you can agree with me the whole time, but in reality, you hate change. I have one of those folks. I love my mother to death, but she cannot She is, she rejects change, right? Um, it's funny because I think that that's part of why my son rejects the change, is because he's, you know, as much as what's the word? As much as raised, I guess, for lack of a better term, they were raised by me. They were also raised by my mother. Their grandmother had a huge hand in there, right? And everybody deals with life differently. She'll even, what I love about my mother, because I don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing, as much as she rejects change, kudos to her, because she knows that like she has literally admitted, I know that I should do it a different way. I just feel like it's too late or something. And I try to remind her it's never too late, right? You can always change. But again, that's neither here nor there. I love you, Mom. What I will say is, what I have come to find to be the truth for me, playing both roles, and I mean that, at the age that I am, I have gone through many, many times of fighting and rejecting the change, and many, many times of embracing it. I now choose to embrace it a heck of a lot more. And what I have found on that side, not only does it, and change can be good or bad. Let me say that real quick. It does not equate to bad or good either way. Or I should say, it's not predetermined that change is either bad or good. It's how you see it. Because what some people would consider a bad change, I now, many times, what even I would used to have considered a bad change, I now consider a good change, because I embrace it. That's the point I'm trying to make. When you start to embrace change, what was once feared, right, is no longer feared. I guess a good example of that is, there's a lot of people that grow up in one house. Believe it or not, they live in one fucking house. They grow up in their family's house, and then their family dies and they get that house, I cannot remember every home I've lived in. I am a true nomad, and in the terms of what nomad means. And I love that. One of the reasons I love it is when you have that kind of a life, you don't fear change naturally as much, because you have to go and change. You have to learn where new things are. You have to learn where the store is, learn where the grocery store is, learn where the Walmart is, learn where the movie theater is, learn where the local hangouts are, right? When you continually move, everything gets topsy-turned. Like literally, you when you move, you turn your world upside down. I have done that more times than I honestly can remember. I've been in this house now for 5 years, and this is the longest I've ever been anywhere. I think obviously that does come with the fact that I have gotten older, right? But when you look at that, okay, well, I should say this. Let me clarify. Since 16, I have never lived anywhere as long. And technically, actually, I can go back to 12. It dawned on me. I remember that my father built a new house when we were 12, so we had to move, and we moved to a new town, new school district. That was the first time. That was scary as fucking shit to me. I don't know about any of y'all if you've been through it, but I had already been through different schools, and it was just, at that time, it was still scary. And what I mean by that, I was the new kid. So I've talked about this before, but out of 11 years of schooling, I did not go to school my senior year, but out of 11 years of school, I was the new kid in some form or fashion, like 7 or 8 times. And I've gone through it many, many times to make sure, right? But even by the time I was 12, I had done private school. I'd gone from public school to private school, back to public, and then changed over with a new district where we went from, and y'all may not think it's much, but you're the new kid again when you go from elementary school to middle school. Why? Because, yeah, you take a few kids with you, but Y'all remember how schools work, right? If that's a middle school, it's got like 3 or 4, sometimes 5 or 6 elementary schools dumping into that, right? You stay there for a few years, 2, 3, depending on your district. Then you get dumped into a high school that, at least where we lived, right? Like it went from 100, maybe 150 kids in elementary to a couple thousand in middle, or no, like 1,400, probably closer to 1,400, right? To like 3,000, 3,500 in high school. We had a fucking elevator in our high school, and that was back in the fucking, this is back in the 80s, man. I went to high school in the 80s. An elevator. What do they have now? They probably have fucking escalators. I'm not kidding. Probably do. Change is inevitable. Change is part of everything. To bring it full circle, by the time I, went out on my own, which was at 16, I went out early. I told you I didn't graduate. And I went out on my own. I got my GED and I started working. Long story short, I went from drug rehab straight to living on my own because my parents put me in rehab. So I'd be damned if I was going to live with them again. But that's a show. Go back and you can watch it. When my mama put me in rehab. But what I will say is, by the time I started to get to make my own decisions, which was 16, I never wanted to stay anywhere for long. Some people may get this, but as a male, I went through this phase until I was almost 21. And you'll get where I'm going with this in a minute, but it did not matter how much I liked the woman. It really didn't. It did not matter how much I liked them. Once we slept together, it was over. It really was. I did not want to know her. I was no longer attracted to her. And I felt bad because it wasn't like a choice. I didn't go, oh, I don't want to be with you anymore. It was just male hormones at that age. That's all I can tell you. And part of it, I think, is that at that age, male hormones it's all about conquer and destroy. And I know that sounds rude. And some people are probably thinking that I'm over the top. I'm not trying to say that. When you're a 17-year-old young man, getting laid is like the number one thing in your mind. And many times it's as much as you can get. And so I think there was this subconscious mentality that once it was conquered, if you will, I'm not saying that's right, but once it was conquered, then it was time to move on. Well, call me a big kid. But I've always felt like, and maybe it's the reason that I'm a polysexual person. But as much as I dearly love my wife and she means the world to me, she even likes me to go out because I respect her more when I date other people. That's all I can say. Number one, I'm more appreciative of what I have at home all the time, right? I know that may sound funny to you folks, but really going out and dating other people actually, maybe not for everybody, but for me, it has always, even when, because the 2 women before her, we tried other versions of open relationships, but they didn't go well, right? And even when I would cheat, no matter what, being with someone else always made me appreciate the woman that I was going home to more. Now, I don't know if that makes me just totally fucking insane. Not everybody is like that. Have a good night, Tom. I see your message, buddy. Not everybody is like that. A lot of people are just the opposite, But to me, I think what really boils down to is scared of change. First of all, both people have to be okay with change, but it's the same way with why people live in the same place their whole life versus people like me who like to move. I've lived in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, basically Virginia, Indiana, California, Colorado, right? And it's given me a great deal of experience that I wouldn't have had I just stayed one place and visited those places, right? By living somewhere, you actually get to know that place and you become part of it, right? Which takes a lot of change on your part. Change, I think, also activates the noggin. And what I mean by that is if you're driving the same route to work from the same house for 30 years and that's what you do, probably aren't going to notice the fucking roses on the side of the road. That's all there is to it. If you don't believe me, talk to any doctor who's been a doctor for a really long time or a nurse who's been a nurse for a really long time. Even the best of them will admit that to a certain degree, they have lost a bit of the human touch because they've been doing it so long, it's just a job, right? I don't think everybody on the planet was meant to do a job for more than half their life or even half their life or whatever the hell it is. But the humans live to 75 and we're expected to basically start working, essentially around, let's say 18. No matter when you work, you're expected to work for 30 years. 30 years. And it used to be the expectation that you would work the same job for 30 years. Which is why you got a 30-year mortgage. So your mortgage lined up with your job. And when you were done paying your mortgage, you also got a retirement from your job. Doesn't that sound like a great fucking package to all of you guys? Not to me. That is not the life package that I have ever chosen, nor will I ever choose it. And you know what? There's good and bad. There's pros and cons to everything, folks. I have a lot more worry. I have a lot more stress. But I also believe, on another hand, to a certain degree, I live more. I experience more. I know that I experience more. It doesn't make it better or worse. It's just my path, right? By going the path that I go, I experience more and I get to do more. And for me, that I embrace that. I'm trying to, again, teach my son to embrace it. And anybody who's watching this, may I suggest that the next time a change comes that maybe has you a little nervous, has you a little, whatever, try looking at it from a different angle that, like, literally find a way to put a positive spin on it. I know that sounds old and whatever, old-fashioned, stupid, but it works. If you look at things from a different point of view and you don't look at them from the same point of view that you've always been looking at things, you will see them from a different light. Hence, earlier tonight, it didn't dawn on me at all who Kenneth was. And then I looked at it from a different standpoint, a different point of view, a different mindset. And then it was clear as day. I will say this last thought of the night. When you take it from mindset and a different point of view, many times the answers then do present themselves. It's why not just playing video games, but even having trouble with work. Like I was having issues the other day with the new company and I was nearly in tears. I mean, seriously, I wanted to cry and throw my fucking laptop and just like rage. I was so upset because I could not figure it out, right? And to me, when I can't figure it out, it really bothers me because I believe I'm extremely smart and I believe anything can be figured out if we just apply ourselves, right? And here's where part of that is going. I knew that if I just let it go, and what's funny is my wife said it, she's like, just take a day off today. Just don't do anything with work. And I did. And when I came back and fired up the computer the other day in the morning, like within an hour, I had my problem figured out within an hour. So it's the same way with video games. If you're a gamer, you'll know this. You get to a place where you just keep dying. Stop. Put the fucking controller down, even if it's for an hour, and come back and you'll blaze through it. Life is the same way, folks. I am down to my last sip and down to the last little bit of this. I love all of you. Have a wonderful evening. Have a great week ahead of you. I will see you on Thursday and then again on the weekend. And, you know, again, with the show, don't be afraid of change. The next time you see some change coming, just embrace it. You know, part of embracing it is turning it around and finding a way that it improves your life. Put a spin on it that it makes things better. And believe it or not, it's not just a spin of how it looks, but when you actually are capable of doing that, and it's up to you, I promise. You put a spin on it where it improves something in your life, it does. It does exactly that. It does exactly that. I love all you guys. Have a beautiful evening. Have a wonderful week. Have a blessed week. Stay lifted. Remember that you are incredibly special and you're part of this puzzle. You're a piece of it. And just like any puzzle out there, if one piece is gone, then it's incomplete, and it is not its full potential. That's why you're so important. You make the puzzle of life complete. We all do. I love all you guys. Have a wonderful evening. See you on Thursday. Peace.
I switch here, I'm a strange fuck. Consistent ain't something I could say well. Throw my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day is swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.